Obviously, in the second and the third quarter, we kind of let the rope go a little bit, and they got loose, scoring 33 and 37 points in those two quarters. But I thought we came out, we tried to play the right way to start the game. There were 4 or 5 opportunities that we had in transition where we turned the ball over or missed a layup, an uncontested layup. I think we did one and took a tough shot. So, we should have had a little bit more of a cushion at the end of that first if we would have did a better job in transition. And then, in the fourth quarter, our guys found a way. They buckled down defensively. It was great because in the huddle, to start the fourth, Cat said, hey, I drew up a play and I was talking about some offense, talked about defense, and Cat said, hey, at the end of the day, it starts defensively. And we got to start with getting a stop. And that first possession defensively, you can see the sense of urgency and the physicality that Cat was talking about when he was guarding Sengun out on the perimeter. He got up in him, he turned him a couple of times, and he led the charge on that end of the floor. So that was great. And, to outscore them 15-33 and come back and win the game by 2, it's a really, really good team. I liked our guys' stick-to-itiveness to the whole thing because there were plenty of times where we could have just folded and given up. It was great because we just kept searching for combinations until we found one that worked. Rick Brunson was the one that suggested throwing Jose in the game at that time, which was the right call. We threw Jose in, and he gave us a spark on both ends of the floor. Jose was our defensive player of the game tonight. And then, when it gets down to it, these guys are a heck of an offensive rebounding team. They're first in the league, and it's not even close. They had 13 offensive rebounds tonight, which is little over 2, almost 3 offensive rebounds below their average. And they had 10 second chance points. They averaged 18, 19 second chance points a game. So for us to shore that area up while we're playing fast and then trying to bring some physicality to the game. They had 20 turnovers. We scored 30 points off their 20 turnovers. Was a big thing for us and helped us, especially late in that game, get the win.
What did you make of the way they defended Jalen? I guess to start the game, they were showing them team double blitz and all that. You guys moving over. What did you make of the way you guys played off of that? And then the second half, you guys change anything based on the way they were defending?
Yeah, we didn't do much in terms of changing it. We kept trying to do what we did in the first half. A lot of teams do it to us. They try to put somebody in the pick and roll and play matchups, and so that's what we started going to. And the next thing you know, they had to take Sengun out. We went at Reed a little bit, and then by then Jalen was in a groove, and it almost didn't matter who was on him. He found a way to score, and he was big for us, especially in that fourth quarter. So for us, again, starting the game, even with them playing that way, we were scoring. We were playing fast, and we have to continue to try to play fast. We just didn't do a great job taking care of the ball. But defensively, I thought OG was really good. You're not stopping Kevin Durant, but his physicality and all that was really good, especially in that first quarter. They scored 21 points. We just, in that second and third quarter, they got loose a little bit offensively, and, we got to do a better job in that area. Yeah.
Just perfect pass, right drive, both fouls, all that kind of stuff. When he gets into those rhythms, he is making the right decision. What do you see is allowing him to maintain that over such a long stretch?
That's something that you probably should ask him. But we tried to get him the ball in different places. We tried to get him the ball in the post. We tried to get him the ball in the pocket. We tried to have him pick and pop, and he did a good job delivering at the end of the day. But we weren't specifically going to him. We were just playing. And he was the ball, when you play the right way, usually the energy of the ball finds you, and that's what happened to him. And when the ball was in his hands, he did a nice job of making the right play, whether it was for him to score or for him to pass.
You talked about in the pregame about the Warriors teams having that flip switch mentality and them having the talent.
The early ones, not in 22.
Yeah,
okay.
The KD team.
Yeah. Because we were that good.
Right.
That team was unbelievable.
Right.
KD in his prime, Steph in his prime, Clay in his time. you know, I mean, Draymond in his prime, right? And then Andre. I mean, it was just an unbelievable team.
To that point,
Yeah.
is there any credence to your team sort of developing that mentality? You may not like it being that way, but you had some comeback victories this year when it's been kind of improbable. Does your team have a flip the switch mentality?
No, I don't know if there are many teams that have that now. You know, because it's a unique team, and you know when you have uniqueness like that, they get away with a lot of things. Having said that, shoot, I remember Indiana came into Golden State, came into our home, and they had I think they were missing their whole starting five, and they blew us out by 20. You know, so that can happen. We tried everything in the book that we could to throw at them, but it just wasn't our night, and we looked disjointed, we looked bad, and we couldn't get it done. So that's going to happen. You just hope that it doesn't happen, you know, throughout the course of 48 minutes, and you hope that you can play sound basketball on both sides of the floor, so that at the end of the game you should give yourself a real chance to win. And I thought tonight, you know, we found a way. That's what I'm most excited about with the group. We found a way. But we have to be better. We have to be better defensively. We made some mistakes in our rotations on the backside, which allowed them to get free from the three-point line in that second quarter. And then, you know, our low man wasn't always there when they drove the basketball. So there's some things that we could do better defensively. And then offensively, you know, we can do some things too where we're spacing the floor and all that. And, you know, just make sure we try to keep it as close as we can, especially when Kat and or Jalen aren't having a night.
You mentioned in the early defense, like you forced 9 turnovers in the fourth quarter. What's
Yeah.
down the stretch?
Our physicality, our aggressiveness, our sense of urgency was at a high level in that fourth quarter. And, you know, Jose's activity, and it's happened before, you know, Jose's a very active defender. He gets his hands on a lot of balls. He's extremely quick, you know, so you know, he might not be in the right spot initially, and so when you're driving the basketball, you think somebody's open. Next thing you know, because of his quickness, he's able to make a beat on that basketball and get a deflection or something like that. So that helped out a lot too. But again, at the end of the day, from top to bottom, everybody that played, there was an aggressiveness and a physicality that we brought to the table that we got to find for 48 minutes, and not just in the first quarter and the fourth quarter like tonight.